What's up, guys? Welcome to Lakeview Car Channel. Today we are changing out some tie rod ends. We figured this is a pretty general video that applies to most cars with steering rack steering. So we dug into Nick's Subaru here a little bit, and we couldn't get those off just by spraying them with penetrating oil. So here's your this is your outer tie rod end. Here's your jam nut, and then here's your inner tie rod end, and this is threaded into the rack for under that boot. So we're just changing the outer tie rod ends because this ball joint on the end of it has become worn out and loose. So since we're in here, we figured we'd change them out. Like I said, we couldn't break them loose with just a wrench and some oil, so we've got a torch here, and we're just gonna heat them up. All right, that should be enough. We're gonna give this a try. Oh boy. Bit different angle on this. Cut that part out. There we go. So we got the, okay, so in this case, we actually kind of lucked out. So the nut is actually staying stuck to the inner tie rod, which for now is okay. That just gives us a great point to, you know, I'll just show you. I'll just take this off and I'll show you guys what's up. So I had it in the steering knuckle here just so I could keep it still and turn that like it was. But now you'll notice that the, I don't know if I grab a wrench. You'll notice the outer tie rod end is threading off of the inner tie rod end. So we're gonna take this all the way off, put the other one on and butt it all the way up against that nut, and then just tighten this. If you'll notice, it's got some flat spots on it, right there and there, perfect for a wrench. We're just gonna tighten that against this jam nut and bolt it back into the knuckle, bolt the ball joint back into the knuckle, throw the cotter pin in there, and then he is good to go off and get in alignment. Now guys, it's always a good idea after you do any kind of suspension work like this, definitely go get in alignment, because you can get it close, but you probably won't get it right back where it was, especially, you know, as parts wear, it changes, and the new part may be slightly different. So we're gonna throw in the new one and we'll get going. All right guys, so here is the new one. I don't know if you've ever dealt with these before, but this is a hole for what they call a cotter pin or a cotter key, something like that. And this is a castle nut. Notice it's got all these little notches in it. Looks like the top of a castle, funny enough. So basically, this goes in your steering knuckle. Tighten this guy down to your proper torque spec, of course. And then, let's say you're about there after you torqued it. You're just gonna crank it a little bit more, tighten it a little more so it lines up, and then you put a pin through there and you wrap the tails around the end, that way it can't come out. That way, in case this ever does start to back off, it won't come all the way off. And that's very important, very, very important, because if you lose steering while you're driving, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you might as well give up at that point. So I'm gonna thread this back on here, and I'll show you how we bolt that in the knuckle. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab a second wrench, because you'll notice the tie rod end and that jam nut were both this size. So I'm gonna go grab a second wrench, make sure those two are really tight against each other, and then we'll go ahead and bolt it into the knuckle. Okay, cool. Just be safe. Of course, when you get it aligned, they'll probably break that loose and retorque it anyway, but you know, safety. Never want to drive with loose suspension components. That's never a good idea. So now I'm just gonna try and get this back in the steering knuckle. Of course, it's gonna be a pain in the butt. Of course, it's gonna be like this. There we go. Awesome. And you want to pay attention to if your tie rod end came in from the bottom or if it came in from the top, because every car is a little bit different. Your mileage may vary, so they say. Oh, come on. Okay. Just gonna tighten this down. Okay, awesome. So I'm not going to torque it right now because we have other things we got to do under here. We're going to go back through and torque everything at the same time just so we know we got everything. That's pretty much it. We're just going to throw our cotter pin through there. We'll show you what that looks like on the other side. We're missing the cotter pin on this side for now, but we'll show you on the other side. And then that's pretty much it. You have changed out your outer tie rod end. So you can see right here, we've got that pin through the hole in the ball joint. I went ahead and pulled it through, and then I bent both the tabs over the top. That will keep the head over here will keep the nut from spinning back off in case it comes loose. I've also seen people pull them through and they'll bend one tab that way, one tab this way. It really just bend it how you see fit or according to your manufacturer's manual, whatever you want. But as long as that pin doesn't come out, as long as that nut doesn't back off, you are good to go. All right, so that is it for the outer tie rod install. So thanks for watching the Leafy Car channel. If you like what you saw, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and, if you got any questions, go ahead and ask us in the comments, and leave a like if you liked it. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.